What's up, YouTube? Today I'm going to show you my fish tanks. So this is my 75-gallon tank. I just had gotten it. I just got it probably about a month ago. I think the water's finally cycled through. But to help it cycle through, I use this Ready Start nitrifying bacteria starter. And it says you can just add your fish right away, but I kind of experienced a few deaths and really high ammonia in this tank. Right now, the ammonia is super low. There's 0 nitrites. This is my cichlid tank. I feed it some tetrad cichlid. I just got the tank, so I was doing the Ready Start and aquarium salt. It came with this nice light, and I got top fin filter down there. That's the air pump. And then down on this side, it's just more decor stuff for my fish tanks, and it's just some heaters, and I have an undergravel filter in one of the tanks. I just took it out though, and that's that. So these are my African cichlids. And there's some tiger barbs as well in this tank. But got some labs. I think they're labs is what they're called. There's an albino cichlid. There's my tiger barbs, 5 of them. But we're gonna get some more African cichlids. I was looking online for them, and I think it was like 150 bucks or something, or 120 bucks for like 25 of them. So that's what I'm gonna be getting in the next week or so. I also have some convicts in there, but I am gonna switch to all African cichlids. These are from my 10-gallon tank I have, and I just transfer them into the bigger tank. I also want to get some more hiding spots, some more of these rocks. And then we got this that has filtration. I turned this one on only when I'm at home. I'll turn it off at night, and when I'm at work I'll turn it off. And then this one's always going through. But this is my African cichlid tank. There's my pet rock. I don't have any names for them yet, but I definitely want to put real plants on it. There used to be a blue lobster in this tank. I threw all the fish in this tank from the 10-gallon. The lobster, since it was a much bigger tank, decided to molt. And then I don't know if he just molted too quick. He normally in the 10-gallon tank would hide in that little hut back there. But I think he was just too big for it, and there's not really any caves or anything for him to hide, so he tried to molt in that back area over there, and I think he just molted too quick. His antennas popped off, one of his legs popped off, either that or the fish got to him, I'm not quite sure, but I got him straight out of the tank as soon as possible, threw him in the 10-gallon tank that I'm about ready to show you, to try to make him heal. I know crawfish, lobsters, they heal by molting again, and then their limbs will start slowly reappearing. So, but this is my 75-gallon African cichlid tiger barb tank. So this is my, I'm pretty sure it's like a 15-gallon, 20-gallon tank. It used to hold all of the tiger barbs and a few cichlids in there, and then we decided to get the 75-gallon, and my original plan was to turn this into my, I have 2 Plecos in my 10-gallon tall tank. I was going to move those Plecos into here. I'm pretty sure one's a female and one's a male. There were signs of eggs before in the tank, so I want to try to breed him in this one. I try to, since this little guy, yeah, he molted. He doesn't have any antennas anymore. And I think his shell was just super soft, so he just needed time. I think his shell is hardened now. He's been eating now. He wasn't eating for a few days. He just kind of hid. But now he's out and about and moving around. I'll show you some pictures of him right here. Pretty cool guy. We've had him for a while. He's molted a couple of times in this tank right here. I threw in a heater for him, and then we bought this cave, and he loves this thing. So my plan is once he molts again, grows back, it's his right leg that's missing, grows back his leg and his antennas grow back, I will throw him back in that 75-gallon tank with the cave. And maybe with this rock too. He likes to hide underneath there. He's been digging in this corner. This tank used to have the undergravel filter in it. It works well, but I don't know. It just wasn't my thing. So I do want to plant plants in this tank, and then, as I said, put my 2 Plecos in this tank and just have it be Plecos and plants. And then maybe a few fish. But this is my 20-gallon long tank. Also, this tank has a nice light on it as well. It's not what it originally came with, and this is the filter for it. I also want to plant plants in this tank. Main reason why, this red gravel is actually really good for plants. It leaves a clay-like thing, or it leaves like clay in the water though when it gets stirred up. I did buy orange and blue rocks for a little gallon tank to throw fish in that are pregnant, or a little baby fry. And I threw the rest of the rocks into this guy just to kind of, so I'm able to plant plants in the back and stuff. Alright, so moving along to my next fish tank. This is where my cords are, my bucket with my cipher in it, and then I have the top of the container, and this is where I keep all my fish food and my filters in here. So this is crab cuisine. This is what I feed the blue lobster with. I will as well have Pleco wafers, algae enriched. This one has zucchini in it for the Plecos I have. Algae rounds for the Pleco. Tetra Pro Tropical Color Crisp. This is what I feed my mollies with. And then just extra filters. I got this stuff. The only thing that's really left is little baby shrimp. I'll feed the lobster with that as well. And this is the 10-gallon tall tank. So these are my mollies. When I get the long tank set up, I want to switch some of these mollies into that tank just for a little contrast. I also have some tetras. I forget what those things are called in the back, but they're little tiny fish. And as well as I have some ghost shrimp. There's one hanging right there on the log. And yeah, they're my mollies, my tetra. There's also assassin snails in there. And I have, let me see, yep, there he is, little baby fry. So I'm pretty sure, actually, yeah, that Molly swimming to the far right, swimming straight to us, that's the mama. And then these are her little baby fry. There's 2 of them. There's another male. I just got another, that's a female, actually. Because I realized there was 1 male and 1 female in this tank. And then, so I got a few more females and 1 more male. I also have a little tiger barb. He's not doing so well. I don't know what is up with him, but I threw him in this tank. He's kind of swimming sideways. But he's been a lot better in this tank, but I'm going to throw him back into the other tank probably today. And then I have assassin snails as well. Yeah, look, there's another baby fry, just zoomed on off. But that's why I have this little hut. When the baby fry were born, they literally just live in the rocks. And there's some big rocks in there, and they literally just live in the rocks. They don't get eaten. They're getting brave now to the point where they're swimming around with the little guys in the back. I don't think the big ones are gonna mess with them. I also have 2 plecos in this tank. They normally like to hide. There's 1 on the log. They normally like to hide on this log. There's both of them on the log, actually. Yeah, you can kind of see them. They're small now. I've had them for a while, but I think they haven't really grown because of the size of the tank. So that's why I want to throw them into this one with a bunch of plants. But I got to get the lobster feeling better first before I do any of that. The lobster has been, I think his shell's back now, but I just want to be sure. I just want him to molt 1 more time to see if his antennas will grow back. Because I don't think he can see at all. I think he's blind without his antennas. We've tried to like wave our fingers in front of him. He doesn't do anything until you touch him, or like touch him with, I have some tongs that I kind of like just barely tap his back with. And he just freaks out. Like he can't even see me. So I definitely want him to be better before I put him in my cichlid tank again. But cichlids and them, they actually do really well. They were doing just fine in that tank. They were doing just fine in this tank, the cichlids and the blue lobster. But obviously I wanted something a little bigger, so we got the 75-gallon. Here's a little shrimp on the top. Oh, there it goes, zooms in. And here are my mollies. They're really active when I feed him, especially too. This one has a bigger filter. I think this filter is actually meant for like a 50-gallon tank or something. But it has like the bio wheel. Where is it? It has the bio wheel and then 2 filters. I wanted to get the same filter for both tanks so I didn't have to buy like multiple filter sets. But yep, this is my 10-gallon tall tank. There's a heater in the back as well, and the glass needs some cleaning up to do. I just got the 75-gallon tank and fell in love, but I still watch these guys every day. These little baby fry, make sure they're doing well. I use the same fish food, but I really grind it up and just throw it all in there for them. The pleco also likes to hide in these rocks and this little shell. But I definitely want to, when I move them to that tank, get some more caves in them so they can start breeding. But yeah, these are my fish tanks. So the last fish tank I have is this gallon fish tank. And as I said, I'm going to throw, once the Molly gets pregnant again, I'll throw her in here so she can have her baby fry. And then the baby fry can just live in here. Since the baby fry just kind of live on the bottom, I think this is a good Molly tank to have because the adult ones swim on the top, and then down below the little babies, there's plenty of hiding spots. So I might just get a betta fisher or a really cool goldfish for that small tank on the kitchen counter. And also the reason being there's no like heater in there. I could put this little heater or get a heater, but I'd rather just get like a betta fish or a goldfish to put in there. Because all my tanks have heaters. I want them to have as natural as habitat as possible, but there's some assassin snails. These things breed too. I've had this gravel, fun fact too. I actually got this fish tank from a buddy, and he's the one that introduced me to having a fish tank. There used to be a giant log in here, and I still have the log actually down in this bin down below. But it would turn the water all gross, so I put it away for now. I actually was thinking about putting it in the 75 gallon because it like filters a lot better. Yeah, let me know what's wrong with this dude in the comments. He's just swimming sideways. I just don't know. I think maybe I'm going to switch him to the bigger tank now because he's actually swimming now. When he was in the 75 gallon tank, he wasn't. But now he's just like swimming sideways. But as I was saying, these rocks down below, I got them from my buddy who gave me the fish tank and the wood that was inside of it. And he told me that these rocks were 10 years old. I've had this fish tank for 5 years now, so these rocks are doing its job. I'll show you what I test my water with, but when I test this water, it's always like perfect water. Even as much as fish I have in here, the water is like the best water I have, and I'm pretty sure it's because of these rocks. All my other rocks, in this tank, these rocks the red ones are pretty old as well, but I've only had this tank for like 5 years. So, and then the brand new tank, I bought whole new substrate with it. So I got the Freshwater Master Kit API. It has all of the little bottles in it. But this is what I tested the ammonia with. I would test it every day, and it decreased. I would do 50% water changes with it, like every other day. I stopped feeding the fish for a day, and now I finally think the ammonia is way down now, so I think it finally cycled through. Nitrites, yeah, 0 tolerance, and ammonia 0 tolerance. But I finally think this tank is cycled through. I did lose some cichlids, and as I mentioned, my blue crawfish were having some problems, and that one tiger barb. Like, all these other fish are fine. It's just that one tiger barb. And I think 3 cichlids have died in this tank. At first I didn't know what the reasoning was. They would just be swimming on the very, very top. And then they would die the next day and they'd be on the bottom. Which, when the blue lobster was here, one of the cichlids died, and then the blue lobster had eaten the fish. Peacock cichlids are like $12.99, so it's not really, it's kind of hurting. So I researched it and I got a test kit. But thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my fish tanks. I hope to improve them a lot better. Obviously, I'm new to this hobby, so I'm excited for future tanks and future